The Italians, by the way, are picking up really fast right now. And yeah, it's kind of, as you know, 1 or 2 years ago, Chinese was not even in the top 10. Yeah, and so it is growing at a phenomenal rate. Here again, you can see the same stat in numbers. These statistics are coming from Internet World /stats, and they're also provided by Technorati that gives us a quarterly report about the state of the blogosphere. I don't know. Here you can see this is the kind of the statistics that they provide us with. Technorati is a US-American company that only quite recently completely remodeled itself into a global firm, and that is now also tracking blogs in the blogosphere in, for instance, Japan, China, in Iran, in Farsi, and so on. So they have only very recently tried to catch up there. And as you can see, that also plays out in the statistics. And the shocking thing about this is that there are in fact more blog postings in Japanese done than in the entire English-speaking world, which is, I think, quite a remarkable outcome. So the Japanese are really quite furiously blogging as we speak. It's a complete madhouse there, really, believe me. And the same can be said about Iran, which is completely obsessed, but also lesser-known countries. Maybe you don't know about. For instance, like a major blogging country in Europe is Poland. A good number 2 is, for instance, France, with very, very serious amounts of bloggers that run into the 10+ million. Well, here you can kind of see the usual trend of what you can expect from a medium that is completely out of control and is growing very, very fast. So these are the actual blogs, working blogs that are in operation, tracked by this one company, Technorati, who is itself a player in the field. So it's producing blogs, software. So I'm not 100% sure about how accurate these things are, or it's a commercial company. So how reliable are these figures that they provide us with? We don't know, or how big the delay, for instance, is. There for sure must be one. Yeah, these are also kind of interesting to see when blogs are created. It's of course the winter in the northern hemisphere, that and kind of the springtime. Here you can see an interesting one that is more related to content, and here they try to on average there are 1.4 million posts on these blogs. So if there are approximately, they trace 70 million blogs, right? Approximately in the world, the conservative estimates say that there are 50 million active blogs, and the people who are using a more broader definition, they say that there are around 100 million, which means, if you remember the previous stats, that around 8 to 10% of the internet population has a blog, right? Is this a lot or not? It also means, of course, that over 90% of internet users don't have a blog. That's another way of looking at it. I think it tells you something, that the blogs have kind of overtaken the homepage, and the blog should now just be seen, and is probably seen by many average internet users as their homepage. And this is a very easy to use a homepage that you create. You don't have to have any technical skills. You just put it on, and then every now and then you put a photo there, and there you go, right? Services like Blogger or other, they're really easy to use, and this is probably the reason behind it. Now, talking about the dominant, the hegemonic discourse that surrounds this phenomenon, we can see that there's a phenomenal overrepresentation of people from the news media industry. And I'm going to talk about that a little later, but the blogs, and especially the blogs discourse, blogs research, has been completely hijacked by the news media industry for no good reason. Last year's statistics of the Pew Internet Project, I don't know if you know that, and it maps internet behavior in the United States only, by the way. It has no, it makes no claims about the internet in other countries. Indicated that only 11% of internet users have any interest in news or news gathering, let alone news production, right? 11%. And I think that's probably quite fair. But we don't see that really represented in the kind of ways that people talk about blogs. When we're talking about blogging, we're really talking about this mechanism, this loop that we see here in front of us. The bloggers are kind of feeding and responding to the news journalists, and the unique feature of the bloggers is that he or she interprets and responds to the news almost instantaneously, and does that through linking to other sites, commenting news sites, but in particularly also commenting other blog sites, right? And it is particularly this model that in my work I'm trying to kind of not attack, because there's some truth in it. I mean, obviously everybody who knows blogs or reads blogs will know some blogs that fit perfectly in this model. I'm trying to make a general theory of blogging that starts from the software and the interface, and not so much from where the blogs relate to so much. This is what I find an interesting one. This is of the French. By the way, this is an English. It's really annoying. This site reads your IP and then guesses where you are and what language you use. So if I'm in the Netherlands and I'll access this, it will give me a Dutch interface. But in fact, this is the biggest blog sites in France. And what I find really the most interesting feature of this site is the one on top, where it kind of administrates the amount of blogs that are active on this site. Look at the number, 8,500,000. Yeah, that's a lot. Almost 400 million articles and 920 million comments. So this is a big one, and we can probably expect that a site like Blogger would have maybe even double the size of this, or even more. We don't know. We don't get these kinds of stats from them. I just want to go just quickly through the different types of blogs or blog services that we have here, because there are a lot of them, and I find the diversity of them interesting in itself. Just to look at the type of interfaces, the kind of ways the users are grouped. I find this MindSafe, for instance, very interesting, because it is grouped around the way these mostly teenagers tag their postings